The transmission echoed across the galaxy. "This is Supreme Chancellor Varnkel of the Dominion. Earth, your time is over. Surrender within 72 of your solar hours, or be erased." The message was laced with arrogance. Broadcast across 50 star systems and every known comelink, most species fell in line when the Dominion spoke. Those who weren't around long enough to tell their story. Worlds that defied Varnkel were now lifeless cinders, so when Earth didn't reply, the galaxy expected surrender, or annihilation. But Earth said nothing, not a word. The United Nations headquarters stood empty, its global feed suspended. The Terran president's digital presence vanished. The orbital defense stations normally ablazed with routine traffic went cold, silence, deafening, total, deliberate. The VAR mistook it for fear. Across the council systems, member races debated Earth's fate. Whispers spread like solar wind. Have the humans gone mad? Have they abandoned their world? But others, those who'd watched humanity from afar, shifted nervously in their seats. They remembered the siege of Sigma Reticuli, the massacre of Phobos Station, the way Earth fought wars not for glory, not for conquest, but like a cornered beast with no leash and nothing left to lose. The humans didn't respond to threats, they reacted. Beneath the Nevada desert, far below the sands, lights flickered on in a forgotten chamber. Admiral Celine, retired after the incident on Titan, stood in silence as a long-buried door slid open before her. The room was sterile and vast, humming with systems thought decommissioned. Artificial gravity, adjusted walls shifted. A terminal blinked. Omega Protocol reactivated. Global response, initiated project, reactant online. She exhaled slowly. They pushed the wrong species, she muttered, across the Earth. Similar scenes played out. Hidden bunkers activated. Beneath mountain ranges and ocean trenches, black site Ayas, forbidden by international treaties, came online, intelligent, loyal, and angry. Machines that had waited in cold silence for decades warmed their cores. The great crater on Mars, once thought a failed terraforming project, opened to reveal an underground fleet, reed and silent. Not ships, not tanks, tools of extinction. The Varn scouts reached the edge of the solar system and hesitated. Something was off. They sent probes toward Earth, expecting automated defenses or panicked diplomats. The probes didn't return. Not destroyed, gone, no signal, no debris. Just silence. Commander Ulvek of the Varn fleet frowned at the data. "They've gone. Primitive," he scoffed. "Their systems are crumbling. Their silence proves they're unworthy of Dominion, mercy." Behind him, a junior analyst stared at the incoming scans, her mandibles twitching. "But sir, Neptune's radiation signature, it's fluctuating." On Earth, deep beneath the glacier in Greenland, a man known only as the Architect stood before a countdown screen. 72 hours. Earth didn't build fleets like the other empires, it built traps. It built knives behind smiles. It built extinction into the stars. And now, finally, it had a reason to use them. As the Dominion tightened its noose, Earth didn't plead, it prepared. Because war wasn't something humans answered, it was something they finished. The Dominion scout frigate glare of conquest pierced the edge of the solar system like a dagger. Its crew, elite by Varn standards, expected a quick reconnaissance. Fly in, scan the outer planets, monitor transmissions, map defenses. Simple. Intel. Their forward sensor array blinked one sand. Shut off. Commander. Ovek narrowed his eyes. Report. Interference, the comms officer hissed. Gravitational lensing, inconsistent with planetary physics. Something's bending space. Ovek turned toward the viewscreen. Beyond the metal curve of Neptune, the vastness of space shimmered unnaturally. Then it rippled. The stars behind the planet bent like heat waves, warping into impossible arcs and then gone. The view was replaced with blackness. Something was moving inside Neptune's orbit. Something massive, silent, coated in light-absorbing polymers older than any known material. The Varn crew never had time to scream. One pulse, no explosion. The glare of conquest simply ceased to exist, erased from Espacetum back on Earth. Admiral Cowrie stood before a wall of data feeds, each one showing silence. The scout had entered the trap. She nodded once. Neptune protocol confirmed. Minimal energy release. Quantum wake absorbed. No external trace. She looked up. Begin phase 2. Unlock the eyes. Across Mars and Luna, hidden satellites blinked. For the first time in 40 years, they weren't just cameras, they were hunter sentries, able to observe in spectrums other species couldn't even name. Deep in orbit around Jupiter, something vast and coiled began to unfurl. On a Varn capital ship near Saturn's orbit, chaos erupted. Another ship gone. "Sir?" No explosion, no distress beacon, just gone. Supreme Warlord Drashten growled through his tusks. "Then send 5 more. Flood their system. I want Earth overwhelmed." They sent 6 ships. Only one returned. It screamed on all frequencies. Garbled voices, static laced with what sounded like crying human, crying, but Earth hadn't responded. It hadn't said a word. So whose voice was that? The message ended with coordinates that didn't exist in latitude and latitude readings for a place called Pine Gap. At Pine Gap, Australia, once a deep space monitoring station, now buried beneath kilometers of bedrock and ancient terminal. Unlock. A man in a gray suit leaned forward. It begins. The console shimmered, then displayed blueprints not seen since the old Earth Wars plans for orbital displacement platforms, smart rock deployments, and reality anchor systems. Earth had hidden its teeth long ago. Now, it began to bare them. Each part of Earth's defense grid was waking up like a limb, regaining blood flow after too long a sleep. Across the asteroid belt, disguised defense units reactivated. Ceres shifted. Thought to be a dwarf planet, now revealed as a dormant command node, its surface cracked. Light spilled out. At the same time, thousands of Dominion AI drones surged toward Earth's moon. They reached within 10,000 kilometers and vanished. Not shot down, not intercepted. Deleted. Every signal, every atom gone. The Varn fleet halted. They had never faced a war where the battlefield itself refused to follow physics. Their commanders began to argue, panic setting in. What kind of species turns a solar system into a minefield wrapped in a mirage? Back in Earth's shadow, floating in a black patch of unlit orbit, a massive satellite pulsed once. It began to deploy quietly, efficiently revealing dozens of prism lenses that bent starlight away from Earth. They called it Umbra 1. Earth had just activated its planetary invisibility cloak. And still, Earth said nothing, no threats, no diplomacy, no drama. Just reacting. And the galaxy began to understand. This wasn't a war, this was a response. And Earth was only warming up. The Dominion Armada Prime 200 capital ships strong entered the outskirts of Neptune's orbit like a tide of steel and wrath. This will be a message, growled Supreme Commander Draston, his voice echoing across the bridge of the Eclipse Warden, the fleet's flagship. Their silence ends today. His second-in-command nodded. Planet scans indicate nothing unusual. Supreme Commander, Neptune appears inert. No thermal signatures, no defensive satellites. Primitive gas giant. As expected, Drastan sneered. Then prepare the bombardment. We will terraform their system with our victory. But as the fleet repositioned over Neptune's orbit, the temperature readings changed. Slowly, subtly, one by one, Dominion engineers began to frown at their consoles. Sir, pressure fluctuations detected within the planet's core. What kind of fluctuations? Drastan demanded, not natural ones. Beneath the planet's shimmering blue clouds, a hidden mechanism locked in place for 87 years completed its ignition sequence. The outer layers of Neptune began to shift. Not a gas giant. Not anymore. The illusion dropped. The swirling atmosphere was artificial, a synthetic cover designed to mimic a real planet. Underneath it, a metallic sphere the size of a small moon, covered in pulse emitters and antimatter-laced gravity stabilizers. Project Leviathan, Earth's largest kinetic weapon, had waited in place, disguised, for nearly a century. Now, it was awake. On the Eclipse Warden, alarms screamed. Gravitational spike. The planet eats, not a planet. It's powering up. Shields to maximum. Brace for, it was too late. A blue-white flash engulfed the fleet as Neptune's core erupted not with heat, but with directed mass acceleration. The weapon didn't explode. It punched a trillion tons of hyperdense alloy launched upward like a cosmic hammer. Varn capital ships disintegrated. In its path, the wave of gravitational distortion tore cruisers in half, folded dreadnoughts like paper. The Eclipse Warden twisted in place, caught in an orbit that suddenly no longer existed. Ships collided. Others vanished into microsingularities created by the core's rupture. It wasn't an explosion, that it was surgical extinction. Back on Earth, Admiral Cowrie watched silently as the live feed from Neptune streamed into Command Nexus Omega. Leviathan successful. The AI announced. Fleet losses, 83%. Enemy communications, severed. Targeting patterns disrupted. Shall I proceed to Saturn Protocol? Cowrie nodded. No, let the rest survive. For now, I want them to run back home. I want them to explain to their war council what Earth actually is. She turned to the shadowy advisors seated behind her. We didn't destroy Neptune, she said calmly. We never had a Neptune. The Galactic Council went into panic. Live telemetry leaked across channels and censored footage of the Varn fleet being erased by what was now confirmed as a human-constructed planetary weapon. Debates erupted. Who builds a weapon that size? Who has the patience to hide it for 100 years? Who doesn't even use it until provoked? The answer was always the same. Humans. In orbit. The few surviving Varn ships limped away from the debris cloud. Some didn't make it, caught by residual pulses, others made it as far as Pluto before their systems went dark. Infected by a data virus hidden in the initial scan pings, the virus had only one function. A message. Broadcast silently across their viewports. You knocked. We answered. This was just our breath. Wait until you hear us roar. Still, Earth said nothing to the galaxy. No broadcast. No threats. No justification. It didn't need to. The Dominion declared war. Earth didn't respond, it reacted, and now, the stars watched in fearful silence, wondering what part of the solar system was next. The Varn didn't sleep anymore, not in their ships, not on their moons, not even in the black halls of their war council. Since Neptune died, silence had become more terrifying than any weapon. The Dominion's greatest minds reviewed the footage, again and again, searching for logic, for sense, for any indication that humans were still just ... people. What they found instead was nightmare. Neptune wasn't real, whispered one Varn strategist. They built an entire false planet just to hide one weapon. His colleague trembled. They knew one day someone would come. They waited. For a century, that's not military strategy. The first whispered, that's something else. That's vengeance. Inside a hollowed-out asteroid near Earth's Lagrange point, Admiral Celine Cowrie stepped onto a glass platform. Before her, 30 figures stood in silence. Not in uniform, no insignia, no names, only the scars. Remain the kinds that weren't physical. These are not soldiers, her aide whispered. They're ghosts. Cowrie's gaze hardened. No, they're wolves. Each one of them had been purged from history. Some for what they'd done in Black War's covert operations buried so deep they were only spoken of in myths. Others, for ideas so dangerous, Earth itself exiled them to deep space exile. Now, Earth had called them back. Among them, the Butcher of Ganymede, who ended a rebellion by detonating an artificial moon. Dr. Haldon, who engineered viruses that killed only military minds. Lieutenant Reese, who once hacked an entire alien fleet and convinced it to fire on its own planet. They weren't generals, they were the end of every logical war plan. And they'd been waiting at a secure station orbiting Mars. The Dominion fleet regrouped. Their new commander, Warlord Korvek, barked orders. We strike Earth, now, full burn, target their cities, leave nothing behind. His officers hesitated. What if they're waiting for that? Korvek bared his fangs. Then we make them respond. Burn their homes, smoke them out. The order was given. 32 ships, armed with fusion lances and bioharvesters, turned toward Earth. Halfway there, everything stopped. Mid-space, their ships powered down instantly and simultaneously. Gravity, flipped holographic decks twisted into mazes. Atmosphere vented, holes bent inward without pressure. Crew screamed. Then, the voices came, whispers through the coms. Human voices, too calm, too still. You're not attacking Earth, they said. You're walking into its lungs. Then, silence, from within Earth's moon, a place no one thought held more than observatories. A new weapon awoke, not a cannon, a signal, one pulse, aimed directly at the Varn fleet's AI coordination hub. It didn't destroy anything, it reprogrammed them. In seconds, the fleet's own ships began turning on each other, weapons firing blindly, targeting allies. Varn crews screamed as their commands were overridden, screens bleeding data that scrolled like poetry. One stanza repeated. Across every vessel, wolves in human skin. Teeth behind smiles. You thought us prey, now you run. Back in council space, a private transmission licked a recovered image from the Neptune massacre. A human face, grainy and scarred, staring straight into the camera, smiling, calm. Beneath it, 2 words. You first. The galaxy erupted. Species that once laughed at Earth now sealed borders, activated defenses, and prayed the silence stayed. The Dominion, they doubled down, but in their hearts, they knew they hadn't started a war with politicians or soldiers. Poked something ancient. And now the wolves were loose. The Dominion had always fought clean wars. They followed doctrine, honored treaties, trusted their armadas to overwhelm, their shields to hold, and their logic to prevail. But Earth didn't fight wars. It rewrote them. The Varn's retaliation began with force. A full strike group of 50 warships broke past the asteroid belt, targeting what they assumed was Earth's military infrastructure: satellite arrays, orbital foundries, space elevators. They never made it because what looked like a satellite array wasn't transmitting data, it was listening. And the moment Varn ships entered its range, it triggered a chain reaction so fast it defied light-speed computation. One by one, the Varn ships blinked out of space. Not exploded, not destroyed, folded into microspatial fragments by gravity bombs so precise they were measured in They didn't explode, they whispered space apart. The flagship Chariot of Dominion collapsed in on itself as every door opened at once, venting its crew into a direction that didn't exist. On the other side of the galaxy, a Varn research station received a sliver of code embedded in a gamma-ray burst. Asymmetry is not chaos. It's strategy you were never ready for. Back on Earth, Admiral Cowrie stood in the ghost room where no data could enter or leave without being carved onto physical quartz. Before her, the wolves' plan. Each move was a message. A fleet routed through a fake wormhole and redirected into a solar flare. A mining colony turned into a self-replicating virus hub, infecting Varn AI and making their ships scream in human laughter. A signal pulse sent to a Dominion nursery were harmless until the children began reciting Earth war poems in their sleep. We're not at war, Cowrie said quietly. We're behind the war, underneath it, beneath the skin of it. The Dominion tried to regroup at Proxima Ardennis, where they believed human weapons couldn't reach them. They were wrong. On day 1, every screen in the system went black. On day 2, Dominion officers began to vanish, one by one, without a trace, from sealed rooms. On day 3, every oxygen system vented at once and only Dominion troops, suffocated. The humans had never landed. They didn't need to. Their virus nicknamed Echo had already lived in Dominion systems for years, waiting, learning, reacting. It only activated when war was declared. Back in council space, fear became law. Entire species rewrote their emergency protocols overnight. Trading ships began refusing earthbound cargo. Peacekeeping forces refused to enter Sol, and in hidden chambers, the council debated the unthinkable. Was humanity a threat to the galaxy, or a correction the galaxy deserved? Meanwhile, Dominion morale fractured. Mutinies spread. Entire sectors went dark. Some Varn commanders abandoned their posts, fleeing to the farthest corners of the galaxy. Others begged Earth for terms only to receive silence. No demands, no mercy. Just the quiet hum of human machines reshaping the rules of war, and one recurring message burned into Dominion archives. Your war was symmetric. Your logic predictable. We are not your mirror, we are the nightmare. Your algorithms never modeled. Still, Earth had not spoken to the galaxy. Still, it had not issued a single declaration. Still, it had not asked for peace, because Earth wasn't interested in diplomacy. It was teaching a lesson, and with every act of asymmetric hell, the galaxy began to understand. This wasn't retaliation, this was design. They thought Earth had used every weapon, that the ghosts had finished their hunt, that Neptune's fury, the silent folds, the AI plagues were the climax. That surely nothing else remained. They forgot one thing. Earth orbits a star, and Earth, in its quiet genius, had weaponized it. The Dominion's final push came with desperation. Warlord Korvek, stripped of half his fleet and most of his pride, launched Operation Black Flame, a direct assault on Sol itself. The plan destabilized the sun with magneto-disruptor warheads, forcing solar storms that would cripple Earth's systems. It is the heart of their system, Korvek growled. Corrupt the heart, kill the body. 13 Varn dreadnoughts aligned near Mercury's orbit, aimed, charged, fired, and then Sol reacted. The solar surface bloomed unnaturally. It shimmered not with chaotic flare but precision. Geometry formed in fire. Concentric rings of magnetic fields danced like clockwork. The Varn weapons didn't hit Sol. They vanished. Mid-flight, redirected. Absorbed, the Dominion crews screamed as the sun's energy bent toward them. Controlled, focused, a narrow beam of concentrated plasma, lensed through gravitational anchors hidden behind Mercury. Sliced through space, the sun blinked, and 5 Varn ships died in an instant. In the ghost room, Admiral Cowrie smiled grimly. Solar lens array, active, ether cannon has fired. Her aides stared at the readouts. We just turned the sun into a weapon. Cowrie nodded. We turned the sun into our sniper. The surviving Dominion ships scattered, desperate for cover. But cover doesn't exist. In a system where the light itself is weaponized, flare guidance systems, activated solar winds bent to Earth's will, ships ignited, circuits melted, engines crystallized, and still, the sun pulsed like it was angry. No Earth ship had launched, no missile fired. This wasn't warfare. It was solar engineering at apocalyptic scale. On the edge of the system, a Varn relay buoy caught the last message from a dying dreadnought before it was swallowed by solar plasma. The sun is alive. They made it alive. That footage leaked, and when it did, panic ignited the stars. Across council space, civilizations reeled. This isn't defense, muttered a Gentari ambassador. It's artillery made from astronomy. The Grusari archivists offered a more ancient phrase. Star-tamers, myths from before written history, species who could leash suns. And now, Earth. Earth was one of them. In orbit around Earth, hidden, just behind its moon, Project Umbra activated Phase 2. Earth disappeared from visible spectrum. No emissions, no shadows, no heat signature. The planet was still there, but no longer findable. The Dominion's surviving ships searched desperately for a lock. Nothing. The planet was gone. It had turned off its light, its sound, even its gravity fingerprint. And in the silence, a signal pierced through. You tried to blind us. We taught the sun to see. You tried to burn us. Now feel the flame. Watch you. Back on Earth. Schoolchildren watched the solar pulses dance across the upper atmosphere like a URORAS to them. It was beautiful. To the rest of the galaxy, it was a warning in light. Earth didn't just defend. It reshaped. Space. It taught the sun to fight, and it was still not done. Because the Dominion wasn't retreating anymore. They were running. And Earth was just beginning the chase. The Dominion once ruled 1,000 systems with fire and fear. They had reduced planets to ash, drowned civilizations in antimatter storms. They had silenced entire species simply by arriving. They were gods in their own eyes. Until they met something worse, a god that never claimed to be one, just a species that refused to kneel. The Dominion High Council convened inside the gravity-locked fortress of Sovereign Halo, a rotating citadel the size of a small moon. Admiral Korvac was already there, humiliated, burning with fury. "I don't want analysis," he barked. "I want blood." Counselor Velith, once smug and serene, now trembled. "They've weaponized their own star. They disappear at will. They hunt us with silence. And we," Korvac snarled, "will make Earth burn." But Earth had already moved. They weren't waiting for the next strike. They were coming. Out near the galactic rim, Dominion long-range scans detected something impossible. A region of empty space was changing. Faint gravitational ripples. Shadows where light refused to behave. Then-motion.a. Structure emerged from the folds of dark space. Not a ship. A machine the size of Saturn. Metal. Organic. Fused with fields unknown to current science. It pulsed one stand. Dominion scanners died system-wide. The Varn crews called it the casket, because it looked like something meant to bury the stars. Then the broadcast came. No voice. Just an image. The Dominion's throne world Valharan Prime projected inside the machine's orbitals. It rotated slowly. And then exploded in reverse. In perfect mathematical clarity, Earth's machine played a simulation of Valharan's collapse. No bluff. No threat, just a promise. Aboard Sovereign Halo, panic shattered decorum. "This is impossible. How can they know our core layout? Our failsafes, our genetic locks. They've mapped our bloodlines. They've rewritten war." And then, the alarms screamed. Sovereign Halo had been breached. Not by ships, not by DROPSHIPS, by something that stepped into the heart of the citadel. Through folded space, through locked walls. A man, human, tattered coat, burned boots, one arm replaced by shimmering nanometal. His eyes shimmered with equations and fire. "I'm not a soldier," he said. "You declared war on Earth. I'm just the response algorithm." Korvac charged, him screaming, blades drawn. The human snapped his fingers. Reality shifted. Korvac froze mid-lunge, stuck in a gravity trap that didn't exist moments ago. "I've killed enough," the man whispered. "But you made us better at it." He reached out, touched the air. A map of Dominion space appeared. Every node, every fleet, every supply line. "They built me to be Earth's shadow hand," he said. He smiled softly. "I'm here to turn off your empire." One by one, Dominion systems went dark. Their sunforges stalled. Their cloning vats corrupted. AI interfaces melted into prayer loops, repeating, "Do not wake Earth. Do not wake Earth. Do not wake Earth. Do not wake Earth." The man stepped away from Korvac's suspended form. "To burn stars is simple," he said, vanishing into light. "To be remembered after, that's harder." And then he was gone. Back on Earth, silence returned. Not out of peace, but because the galaxy had stopped talking. Dominion systems surrendered without a fight. Council worlds broadcast surrender before Earth even asked. Across alien newsnets, one phrase echoed in awe and dread. They reacted once. That was enough. But Earth knew better. This wasn't the end. Somewhere, something else was watching. Something old, something bigger than Dominion, and Earth was preparing. Again. Because now the gods had fallen, and the stars had learned to fear the patient. They thought it was over. The Dominion, once feared beyond comprehension, was shattered, its fleets scrapped, its throne world turned to dust. Its leaders vanished, captured, broken, or simply missing. Galactic networks went quiet. No one dared mention Earth aloud. Children were taught not to look toward Sol, but Earth wasn't celebrating. They were preparing, under the scorched bones of Project Veil. Buried deep in the trenches of what used to be the Atlantic Ocean, Earth's last war council convened not to revel in victory, but to confront what came next. Dr. Kyra Voss paced along a holographic star map, pointing at the strange anomaly now pulsing from outside the galactic barrier. "They were watching us," she said, "before the Dominion. Maybe before we walked." Upright, General Rourke narrowed his eyes. "And now we've made too much noise." The anomaly was growing. A perfect sphere expanding across light years. Not hostile. Not communicative. Just watching. Like an eye. Like a gate. Or worse, a mirror. Because when Earth's machines analyzed the sphere's internal structure, it displayed an impossible truth. Inside the anomaly was another Earth, a shadow Earth. Dead. Lifeless, but with identical landmarks. Cities, even old flags. Voss zoomed in on the ruins. There's no life. No humans, but the architecture, language patterns, orbital mechanics, it's us, or what we could have been. Rourke leaned in. "So what killed it?" She shook her head. "Something bigger, and now, that something is watching our Earth." Elsewhere, in the void where the Dominion's last fortress once floated, a human probe activated a final message. Broadcasting to everything. "We are humanity. We were silent. You called us prey. You made us warriors. You crowned yourselves gods. But we did not destroy you. We reacted. And far beyond the rim, something stirred. The watchers moved. Not ships, not organisms, concepts, timelines, equations, ideas. Wrapped in sentience. One of them whispered into reality. This iteration, adapted. Another, replied. Should we contain it? A pause. No, let it grow. It has teeth now. And then the void trembled. Not with war, but with recognition. Back on Earth. In orbit, a final construct powered up. Project Janus, a station built with folded dimensions. Half in real space, half in the unobservable dark between moments. Its purpose. Unknown to even Earth's leaders, just one man knew. The one who had ended the Dominion with a whisper. He stood alone in the control chamber, staring at stars that now feared to shine near Sol. He spoke softly to no one. We never wanted war, but if war wakes us again, we won't react. He turned, revealing something in his hand, an ancient relic from the ruins of Shadow Earth. AJOURNALHUMAN. Charred. One name written inside. Kyra Voss. His voice cracked slightly. We're not alone across timelines, maybe we never were. And as the station opened its dimensional eye, gazing across realities, it saw them. Other Earths, other versions. Some thriving, some burning. One ascended, and they were all looking back. A ripple spread outward, not a weapon, a signal from Earth to itself. Across galaxies, across dimensions, across time. Not to declare war, we're ready. And the galaxy finally understood the truth. Earth never starts wars, but it always ends them, because humanity is not just flesh and fire. It is memory, it is adaptation, it is reaction.